Hola, Internet amigos. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Today's date is the 6th of March, 2025. It is 1:44 p.m. Let us attend to what's going on in China and the inevitable war that is just around the corner. We'll talk briefly about Taiwan Semiconductor and saying, oh, our most advanced chips won't be placed in America. Oh, really? And we'll talk about the impending Cuban missile crisis around the Straits of Taiwan. Remember, they won't have a war. They'll have the appearance of a war, and I'll explain why. And we shall also talk about the current bird flu doing the rounds in China and the fact that so many people have disappeared off the streets, and allegedly the crematorians are in full swing as we prepare for another round. I don't think so. I don't think it'll be quite like last time. But let's talk about that. So let's watch a little. There is certainly a threat from China as it ramps up war talk against the US. Expert, because, there's nothing like a good war for blockade stock prices and others and keeping people busy. Remember, this is all about news cycles, keeping people busy, keeping people busy thinking about other things. Bannon said it. We're just going to keep dropping executive orders. It's all smart. It's all smart advertising and marketing. I get it. But we have to ask the question of, is this good public policy? Right now, considering the idiocracy that pervades the United States and elsewhere, probably, God willing, over the coming years, we're going to see an improvement in the average IQ of the average human on the planet. We don't need these silly games anymore, but let's see. Anyway, let's watch Mornings with Maria, and Fox News will tell us how bad things are and that Xi's hypersonic penis is on the way.
China said yesterday that they're ready for any kind of war with the U.S. Because of these tariffs that have been placed on them. Can you speak to how the administration is planning on responding to that?
Well, I think Secretary Hegseth has responded to that this morning. He said that
America
will always be prepared to defend itself, especially under the leadership of this president in the Oval Office. And that certainly remains true. Again, when it comes to tariffs, the president has been very tough on China, not just now with 20% and more with the reciprocal tariff.
Is this tough as the Biden administration's enforcement of tariffs? Even Trump said he never enforced any of the tariffs. And to be honest, half the tariffs under Trump weren't enforced. They've never enforced the Nvidia GPU ban on China. They've never enforced it. They made special Nvidia GPUs just for China with less memory and other cosmetic crap changes. They were still getting tons. And let me tell you a little secret about the GPUs that come out of Nvidia, which is everyone's favorite AI and gaming chip. You can't get any of their new stuff because it's all going to freaking China. That's why they gave their top-end gaming GPU, the 5090, 32 gigabytes of RAM. That's a huge amount of RAM. You don't have that for a game, basically a gaming GPU. Sure, you could use it with video editing, maybe. Trust me, 24 gigabytes is more than enough. That's their top end usually. They put another 50% on top. That's purely for AI, and you literally can't get these cards. They've just released, big release. Oh, new GPUs are here, yay. You can't get them. They don't exist. Now AMD hopefully will make a killing maybe, because they're all going to China at huge expense, probably double the price. So that Jensen Huang never, ever has made Nvidia stick to its own US export controls, ever. Why isn't he arrested? I've got to presume because what they're actually doing is putting backdoors in the chips they're sending or something. Or they just got to keep, again, propping up the enemy of the day. Let's continue. Remember, it's all about report from Iron Mountain, maintaining War Powers Act. And this is the big fear, right? I'll tell you the big fear. The biggest fear we have, I understand we have to keep the War Powers Act going. We have to keep industry going. They have to return the power to make things to the United States so it can dominate. Fine. The worry is, and I've repeated it 1,000 times, and I will repeat it 1,000 times more. The worry is that using taxpayer-funded high technology out of the Pentagon budget, they will then automate all these systems, particularly with the front man Elon. Elon Musk's got nothing to do with this stuff anymore. He's just this idiot front man. But they go in and they start automating systems. Then you start removing human beings out of the system. Then you start removing human beings from the court system. You start interpreting law according to AI. You start automating killing machines and the machines that can arrest people, and you start automating.
Move now. I'm going to service.
Please remain indoors. This is for your own protection. Return to your home immediately.
When you make the rules, robot.
Coming in from New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. We're being told to urge people to stay indoors as reports are coming in nationally that robots.
Please remain calm.
We are attempting to avoid human losses during this transition.
These systems, so a very small group of people can take over the whole damn planet. And that is the worry. There is obviously a place for these systems. Now, I'm pleased that the Trump administration is now talking about, well, we need to have big meetings, public meetings and public discussion on AI. And that's great. That's a great rhetorical start. We better make sure that it keeps on going because that is our biggest worry. So with great power comes great responsibility. But at the end of the day, it's not up to them. It's not up to Trump. It's not up to the Department of Defense. It's up to you. You are going to have to put your foot forward and engage in politics. The door is wide open for politics. I assure you, the people that are running the country right now are very happy for an intelligent, engaged citizenry. They really are. They got to live here too. They have children too. We must always remember that. Always remember that. They have children too. And they know these dangers. So I'm actually optimistic. I think, let's keep going. China's coming.
That will hit on April 2nd. But look at what he did in his first term. There were billions of dollars worth of tariffs that he implemented on China.
White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt responding to China's increasing aggression following President Trump's tariff plan going into effect this week. A Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson says, quote, if war is what the U.S. wants, be it a tariff war, a trade war, or any other type of war, we're ready to fight till the end.
Really, I love this rhetoric from China and from Russia. It's hilarious. What with? Your literal ICBMs are full of water. That was not a joke piece. They had filled their fuel with water. All right, nothing works. All their chips are backdoored. Everything they have is from the US. Everything. The machines that even make their low-end chips, all right, all have to be hooked up to the internet. All the things that make those machines work, all the fluids, the special fluids, it has to be remote desktop from overseas. You can't disconnect it from the internet. If you do, it doesn't work. Then ASML will be having something to say. China is completely controlled. All right, so is Putin now. Putin now works for America. That's why you see all the stuff backing Putin, because Putin's going to keep Europe in line. Trump said the EU was created to F us. You've got Bannon running around saying, F Europe. Leave them to rot. Because now Russia's in hand, China will be in hand. And this probably, if you're going to invest, watch Tesla, because when they re-engage with China, and I'm not sure of the exact timing is everything, you might make $1. Because if with a re-engagement with China, you will see Tesla go back up, amongst other things. But China has no capacity to wage war against the US. All right, period. End of story. They wouldn't dare. So quite obviously, as we hear this rhetoric, and let's hear the rest of it, it's all very entertaining.
Joining me now, Gatestone Institute senior fellow and the author of Plan Red, China's Project to Destroy America, Gordon Chang, back with us. Gordon, was that a threat?
Was that a threat? Gordon's going to tell us all. Anyway, that's enough of that rubbish. China has zero capacity to wage war against the United States. They don't have hypersonic penises. Their hypersonic missiles don't work. And do you seriously think the United States don't have hypersonics? They just roll their eyes. Most of the stuff that China gets, you know, a lot of the espionage they commit along with Israel, right? A lot of that stuff doesn't work. They give them fake blueprints. That's why their aircraft carrier doesn't work. It doesn't work. They can't get it to work because they got all this stuff handed to them and stolen. And it was all fake stuff, crap they knew didn't work. China is owned and operated. End of story. End of story. You're not going to hear this anywhere else. I promise you, you're not going to hear this anywhere else because it's all about China, 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 death, destruction, fine, whatever. I get it. I understand why. For now, but it better change over the coming years and decades. But what they need to do is set up this new Cold War 2.0 and some form of engagement with China, and particularly to get the manufacturing back on track. Remember, China does have some power in the sense that you know, as someone reminded me, and you know, you never think of these things, despite all the high-tech stuff China needs and can't operate without. I mean, all these laptops, you got a laptop, it was assembled in, it might not have been made in China, but a lot of the low-end stuff is assembled. That means all the chips are brought together and assembled in China. It's almost all done out of China, all of it. So let's stop with the garbage There's huge amounts of trade still going on. Just things like nails, bolts, screws, simple things you never think about, which will be what Mexico might be doing if it doesn't F it up. Mexico might be doing a lot of assembling of laptops and high-end technology, and also after the etching of the chips in Arizona, as it's brought across the border to be actually assembled, because that silicon has to be assembled into a functioning chip and put on a motherboard. That's all high-end work that Mexico might get if it pulls its head in. But just nuts and bolts. You imagine if there's a shortage of nuts and bolts, screws. There's the housing industry down. You can really extrapolate those things you never think about because you only ever think about the big high-end stuff. But just stuff like that, man, once that goes down, you're in deep, deep, deep trouble. So China does have some power, but setting China on fire is child's play. You just cut them off, and their energy has to be exported through the Straits of Malacca, down through the Suez Canal, through the Straits of Hormuz. Do you know how easy it is to cut them off from their energy? They're done. Done. It's it. It's all over. They collapse in literally, an instant. A click of the fingers, they're dead. Xi has been told and gotten rid of all of his competition, all of his generals. They say he's not really running the country, whatever. There's some, China insiders, China insights and things have some good stuff on this. And they also talk a lot about the current bird flu and where is everyone? Streets are deserted everywhere. Even, in the countryside, there's no one there. And the streets are deserted. Where the hell are all the people? So now they're admitting there's only 800 million people in China. Let me tell you China's biggest enemy. China's biggest enemy is its own local population. And what happened was under Deng Xiaoping and before, the plan was we'll build you up, but you will democratize and you will open your markets and you would adhere to the World Trade Organization. So you will not artificially hold your currency down. You will let your currency float and everything will work out beautifully according to the numbers. A beautiful set of numbers, because they're so in love with numbers, the elites of today. Well, China didn't do that. They artificially kept their currency low. They exported the crap. They bought up US bonds, admittedly, and did their scurrilous duty before what was meant to happen over 2008 and on was the multipolar world order, and they would roll over into Eurasia, setting up 4 different sections, and then Germany, France, high technology combined with Russian raw resources and Chinese manufacturing. They would rule Eurasia, which is out now. They're talking about it, where is he? Where is he? Oh, I have him down, but Anthony Scaramucci, the Mooch is talking Eurasia, the battle for Eurasia, not just Steve Bannon now. So they're getting it. They're still crap, but they're not even close. But they're at least talking about the dominance of Eurasia. That's why Trump said Europe is the enemy. The EU was created to F us. No joke. That's why I did that, re-establish that video, the Hofjuden, the court nobles of Europe. Understand. Then you'll understand Jesuits and Swiss Guard at the Vatican in their fancy, colourful pants. It's the Hofjuden, okay? The nobles of Europe. They're all Jungians. They don't attend synagogue, these people. They're just a bunch of clowns who want to become gods, and they believe God is a highly advanced alien life form. We are made in his image, and our job is to become as gods and cull our population, manage our population, and shift out into the universe with artificial intelligence and quantum computing, new material science, whole new sciences coming out, whole new technologies, and we will create life and sow life on the planet, starting with Mars. Probably true. I just think we need a bit of engagement with the general population. Someone might want to ask me first before they kill me. That's why it's so vital for the America to be strong, the military to be strong, and the US Constitution to be strong, and a highly engaged, highly intelligent political citizenry. With great power comes great responsibility. It's not just a cliche. Trust me, when you've been thrown in jail on bullshit charges as I had, as I saw the corruption in front of me, trust me, you start to love the US Constitution. You start to love the American flag and all those ideas. We all laugh at America. Oh, there go the Yanks again, wrapped in their flag, about to stomp on someone. All right? Suddenly, it's not a joke anymore. Suddenly, you understand freedom is not free. Freedom is not free. And until you've been locked up on bullshit where everyone's telling you it's a bullshit charge, why doesn't it stop? Oh, because you've embarrassed us. Exactly. There's oligarchy, there's nepotism, there's power out of control. And that's what I saw with my own eyes. It's one thing to read about it or hear about it, and it's another to directly experience it. Trust me, it'll change your life forever. Change your life forever. You're never the same again. Then you start to go, oh, that US Constitution is a divinely inspired document, and the Holy Land is in the United States of America, rapidly expanding. Look out, Canada, look out, Mexico. This ain't NAFTA. This is total swallowing. All right, ladies and gents, that's enough on China. There will be a Taiwan Straits incident. It will be manufactured. Relax. It just makes perfect sense. Xi's got nowhere to go. What's he going to do? So it makes sense. They've had their meetings. They'll have private people running backwards and forwards. No emails. No encrypted communications. It'll be talking in an ear, telling him how it's going to be. And I'll tell you why. Let's now move on to Taiwan Semiconductor and how important it is. I remember the first people to bring it to you. We talked about this 2016, 2017. Here we have good old Taiwan Semiconductor. Let's read these articles. And it says, Taiwan's $100 billion US investment won't include most advanced chips, Taiwan confirms. Yeah, I got news for you, Taiwan. You are not a Taiwanese company, you are an American company, technically City of London, but you are American. They're all American patents. They're all integrated into the US system, and they're all held in the US Patent Office. All right, you were always a front. It was part of Kissinger's gift to South Korea, to Japan, the rebuilding after the war, and of course to the Straits of Taiwan and Straits of Taiwan, the Taiwan Straits in Taiwan. It was a gift. All right. Yes, you've got brilliant people, obviously, and America needs you. That's why there's going to be an incident. You will still have manufacturing. You will still be doing high-endish chips, but the most top-end chips will be done in the United States. End of story. So this is just one big lie. Obviously, Taiwan's not going to tell America what to do. That's not happening. But what America needs, because they've been busy creating social media influencer idiots and useless lawyers, so they haven't been really training up their electrical engineers, unlike Taiwan and China and other places that do a lot of engineering. So Taiwan's got some of the best people, most experienced. I mean, this is an art form. This is somewhere where you've got to do an apprenticeship to really run those machines. As they say, it's 50% science, 50% witchcraft. It's amazing stuff. You hear Trump going about it. Someone's obviously briefed Trump, and even Trump's going, wow, that's pretty amazing. It's amazing what they do. And those top Taiwanese electrical engineers are needed in the United States. So you can almost bet, I mean, I don't know. I'm just a guy on the internet, but I'm pretty confident. I'm willing to bet a substantial sum of cash, which I no longer have. Maybe my solar panels can be sold. I don't know. But I'm willing to bet a substantial sum. There will be a Cuban missile crisis type event within 12 months around Taiwan. You'll see the top people running to the United States, and I don't know how long they'll drag it on, 6 months, a year. It'll keep the news cycle busy. Then we'll see a re-engagement. I think you will see a viral release, but this will be mainly aimed at China, and they will use the excuse of war and a huge military mobilization, some form of martial law in China to lock everyone down. And then you will see the release of a virus which will cull a substantial portion of the more elderly population. Sorry to sound like Peter Zahn or a Kissinger, but this would be how I would do it from a particularly ruthless point of view, because they want to drop that population from 800 to 900 million down to 400 to 500 million over time. You will expect then to see a re-engagement with China and manufacturing and so on. Stabilize the region. Putin's in the pocket of US elites and is doing what he's told. Remember, the real enemy, Germany, France, Europe, the 13 families of Europe, the UK, that is the enemy. Their networks are now under control. Rothschild is finished, and we are just seeing the cleanup operation right now. I just don't like some of the pus that I see around the wound site. But anyway, we'll see if that's cleaned up over time, particularly Elon Musk. He's got to go. Just looking at that creep makes me sick to my stomach. But people have every right to, why pick him? $250 million, just throw him out the window, for God's sake. Be done with it. But I presume they want him around in a high profile because they want to rescue Tesla as the price tumbles. So again, if you're an investment, I can't give you the timing, but I actually think that Tesla is going to be a good investment. Once that re-engagement with China takes off, you'll see Tesla go up again. I'm pretty sure they're going to rescue it. I mean, say what you will, the Cybertruck is an out-and-out joke. Talk about mental illness, but I often wonder if it's sabotage. And once they knew by 2018, 2019, the whole multipolar world order deal was off, it's a wonder that's why they invented the Cybertruck, to trash the company. That's why Intel's in so much trouble. That's why Boeing's in so much trouble now, because I believe, someone might be slamming the door on the way out, quite possibly. We'll see. But, there's been a lot of people getting rid of now, which is good. I just want to make sure they're the right people that are being get rid of. They're psychologically profiled everyone. That's what Denology was for after Snowden. So let's hope they're using it for good. So Taiwan has reaffirmed its commitment to keeping its most advanced semiconductor manufacturing within its borders, and it's going to invest $100 billion in US. The Minister of Economic Affairs, Mr. Koo, stated that Taiwan Semiconductor will not produce its most advanced chips in the US in 2026, according to a Taipei Times report. Taiwan's cabinet spokesman, Michael Lee, added that the government would likely support the investment if it strengthens the country's competitiveness and global reach. Look, you're going to be producing the highest end chips in America, and that's it. The reason I think America's having problems is they just don't have the experience at that really high-end stuff, and that's something they will need, those Taiwanese electrical engineers. Coming soon to a Cuban missile crisis. Taiwan chip giant pledges to invest $100 billion. Bringing the money home. Taiwan's $100 billion gamble jeopardizes Taiwan's first. Well, not really. You just don't have a choice, Taiwan. I'm sorry. You're not a Taiwanese company. You're a US company. Cadence Design, Applied Materials, all that stuff. That's all US. That's all the companies behind the scenes that enable you to make your stuff. ASML, it's all in the Netherlands. That's all US patents with some German patents. All right, it's all US. And instead of it being done in the United States, this incredible national security issue, obviously, everyone's talking about it. We talked about it 10 years ago. The national security, who the hell put it 100 miles from China? Because that was the plan, to roll it over into China. That was Kissinger and Associates, and all of those efforts need to be dealt with. He's dead, allegedly. The rest of them need to go as well. Oh, that's the one. New World Order with John Hopkins professor. America is key to global stability. And they're talking about the war, the battle for Eurasia. And they even mentioned Steve Bannon, who is the only high-level talking head that ever talks about the Mackinder World Harmony. He started talking about it a few months after we started talking about it. God bless him. I know he watches it. We used to watch all that stuff. So there you go. So we can pretty much expect a, let's get that up there. Voila. A appearance of a war with China very soon. I expect within the next 12 months, perhaps sooner. I expect they will have some sort of an outbreak. The lethal problem for Xi Jinping and co is the excess population and keeping everyone in line. So we'll see what happens now. Again, the same process that has Xi in total control or allegedly in control. We don't know who's behind the scenes really controlling things. It's never just one man. It's usually whoever controls the bank accounts wins. That's why Putin will control all the oligarch bank accounts. He will have the power over, or he will be talking directly with people to do with their bank accounts overseas. That's the money men, whether you're in Hamas or Hezbollah, the money men rule, not the people with the beards they put out the front of Vladimir Putin. Whoever controls the money rules, because everybody wants their cash. The oligarchy will be behind him. They'll pay off all the generals. All the good, decent generals are either dead or in jail or in under-home detention. The militaries have been eviscerated. The Chinese military is a running joke, literally, like literally a running joke. So some sort of blockade will happen, and it's going to be very exciting, and there's going to be a lot of Fox News large pronouncements that are going to go into this. Okie dokie. But it's all good, America. There'll be a few ups and downs. As I said, it's not going to be a cakewalk, but it's not going to be as bad as 2008 economic collapse. I'm still running around looking for places, so bear with me as I try to organize to settle somewhere, most likely. Well, I'm not going to say, but I will continue to produce content, and we will continue to show you how bad the internet is. So certainly before the end of this year, be very surprised there's not a Taiwan Straits confrontation. And again, re-engagement with China after that. So Xi will be the strong man who faced down the United States, and behind the scenes, they'll just be pouring in the investment again and get everything straight. I don't know, or maybe they'll just throw him out of a window, whatever they decide to do. Bottom line, the enemy has been quelled. The 13 families of Europe, the crown corporate, the Hoofdstuden, the elites of Europe are now firmly under control. They don't like it one little bit. But this is the way it is. And I understand, particularly Germans, I extend my sympathies. You've been treated disgustingly post-World War II. The guilt you carry, I know a lot of Germans over time. I ran a backpackers. I got friends who was going out with Uschi, who was a wealthy industrialist daughter. And, you know, he lands in a plane, and they had a private plane, and he came by normal airline, and the family jump off their private plane, and well, I don't know these people anymore, by the way. I haven't spoken to these people for 15, 20 years, but this was in the 90s, the early 90s, and he said the first thing out of their mouths was, "Oh, welcome, blah, blah, blah. Look, sorry about the war," quote, "sorry about the war." And he was like, "What?" He's Australian. He's like, huh? Met her in Bali. And, you know, and I've met people like, I just talked to some German backpackers and I said, look, you've got to get over the guilt of the Second World War. The first victims of National Socialist Germany were the German people. You were an experiment in mass mind control, and Hitler was funded by a whole range of overseas entities and locals like AG Farben, Krupp and all the rest of the German industrialists hated Hitler. And they just looked in shock, like I quoted Carol Quigley, Tragedy and Hope, the banking families of Europe. And they were like, they were terrified to even talk about it. I mean, the German people are just, they've been kept down, and I'm sorry. It's the way it's going to be for now, but I just hope that, I don't know. I love Europe. It's the home of so much modern civilization we see today. I just hope that the parasites can be extracted and Europe will return to actually rewrite their constitutions and get a constitution very similar or almost identical to the United States. That's the dream. And God, I want to go to Europe. Are you kidding? I've got to see that culture. I've got to see that history, particularly World War II history, of which I am a student of. I want to go see those battles. Fuck, I want to go to Moscow. I want to go to Russia and see the beautiful cathedrals, Orthodox churches. Can't we all just get along? Well, let's see if this system is being dismantled, even by someone we may not particularly like on a personal level. Good things are being done. I can't, it's not what they're doing is wrong. Nothing is wrong. Everything is perfect. I mean this. Everything is literally perfect. It is exactly as I would want to do it. But I just, it's just the people. So I actually have come to like Hegseth lately, because he's an advertisement. The DoD's running itself, but he's a great advertisement for Be All You Can Be. It's actually a smart move. It's good to see so many Fox News presenters getting jobs, but then they're all CIA intelligence assets anyway. So, you know, I guess it carries on, but, you know, it's become obvious to me most of these people, including Tucker Carlson, are just fakes anyway. And what I mean by that is they're not pro-Putin. They are keeping channels of communications open. They are being used to see what people are saying. They're data analyzing what everyone says, and they're getting an idea of who's who in the zoo, who can be trusted, who's a fool, who's absolutely dangerous in the establishment system, and these people will be cleaned out. Data analytics can be a very positive thing in the right hands. I think you should keep your chin up. I think you should be overall happy and basically positive. As we can see with these, no one can stand up against US power. Canada's going to be a state of America. I'm not even joking. Trudeau's saying over and over, he means it. He means it, Trudeau. He does mean it. It's happening. You're going to be a state of America because you can't survive. America's saying, we're not giving you $400 billion handouts. Canada has so many tariffs on the United States. So Trump just said, okay, you're going to tariff us, we're going to tariff you. The party's over, everyone. Get the memo. The party's over. Like he says, we're not helping a foreign sovereign country who's actually quite hostile towards us and has been involved in every presidential assassination and bringing in illegals from the Soviet Union. They're coming through damn Canada and Israel. You're all under control now. You're all going to be directly under the control of the United States. Get used to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I will leave you with the great F. Scott Fitzgerald and Bill Cooper. Always watch these. I watch the ending from time to time whenever I get down, and I understand. I'm going to go get some calamari. Let's talk again very soon, preferably tomorrow. It's all good. Todo bien.
F. Scott Fitzgerald, quote, "The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposing ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. One should, for example, be able to see that things are hopeless and yet be determined to make them otherwise. This philosophy fitted on to my early adult life when I saw the improbable, the implausible, often the impossible, come true."
What is our common bond truly? Freedom. Freedom. Without freedom, you can't be a Christian no matter what denomination you belong to. You can't be a Buddhist. You can't own a donut shop. You can't drive from here to Oregon. You can't be an American because that's what it's all about, and it's the only thing that it's all about. Nothing else. Nothing else. It's about freedom.